Me giving Verizon a chance to sort of catch up. I need to stop talking about this on every single video that I have now, but that's sort of where my mind is. Is this going to work? The last video I recorded, it got kind of glitchy there in the middle. The picture got a little hazy. So I'm not going to share the actual video, the news video in my video, but I want to talk to you about this kidnapping, this scam kidnapping, the fake kidnapping, the fraudulent kidnapping, where this mother thought that her daughter had been taken. You remember that movie Taken with Liam Neeson, however you say his name, I can't remember, where his daughter is on the phone with him and he tells her they're going to take you. Imagine that you're the mother who gets this phone call, and part of what you last hear from your daughter is, I'm being taken, I'm being taken. That's some scary stuff. She's sitting at home Sunday morning, just thinking she's going to be enjoying her day, and this is what's going on. So, this is the article, and you can go to the website. I'll put the link in the credits so that you can watch the video yourself. But she talked about knowing her daughter's voice and hearing her bawling, crying, and then sort of hearing those words, I'm being taken, they're taking me. And then hearing someone who's supposedly from this cartel getting on the phone saying, we have her, and trying to negotiate for her return. You guys, I have so many questions about this, but here you go. AI scam nearly cheats mom of $50,000 by cloning daughter's voice. And I have talked about this before. It is still going on. It's still going on. I tell people, make sure you have some sort of code phrase for your family when something like this goes on. But it happens so fast. You can't really think this through, what to do next. You need to have a plan formulated in advance so that you can go back to that, because otherwise your emotions are going to be flying. You're going to be hearing this fake voice that sounds like your loved one on the phone, and you're not going to be able to think clearly. That's what the scammers are hoping. That's what they're going for. This sense of urgency, the emotional manipulation of hearing your loved one on the phone upset and thinking that you might not ever hear from them again. It throws you off. The things that you would normally think and do and say, they go out the window because now you're just in a panic. You're in a panicked state. So in this case, she's sitting at home. Her daughter's on a trip. The phone rings. It's an unknown number. Now, most of the time, we don't pick those up, right? But she's thinking to herself, well, my daughter is out of town. She's on this trip. She might be calling from another number. This might be an emergency. So let me go ahead and answer the call. She answers, and this is what's going on, this faked voice. So all the while she's negotiating with this other party. Now think about that. Who can really just run to the bank and pull $50,000 out on a Sunday morning? First of all, you're probably going to have to get it from an ATM. And most of the time there are daily limits to withdrawals. So I'm thinking the scammers really didn't think that part through. If you're going to scam somebody out of that amount of money, you probably need to call during the week. Most people don't have access to those kinds of funds on the weekend. So that probably tripped them up a little bit, because that put her in a position to say, okay, I can't get that. How am I supposed to get that? It's a Sunday morning. And it makes sense. So now they're in this negotiating state. In the meantime, the father gets on the phone. He calls 911 and they tell him, hey, this is likely a scam. They have cloned your daughter's voice. And this is why it's all choppy, and they're trying to make it sound like they have her taken, because they haven't necessarily created a whole way to have this conversation back and forth. They just want to scare you to get you to give up the money. He gets on the phone with 911 and they tell him, this is likely a scam. Call your daughter. Call your daughter and see if she's okay. He does that. And guess what? She is okay. She is okay. So this scam is still going on. It's going on across the country. This particular one was in, I want to say, Grand Rapids, Michigan. Grand Rapids, Michigan. And here it is, November 2024. And this just came out the 4th of this month. 4th of this month. And like I said, they thought that this was their daughter. They were upset. They were ready to pay this money. This mother said, "Hey, I recognize my daughter's voice. She is my loved one, and I was trying to figure out how I was going to get that money to them. And we were trying to figure out where the drop off was going to be, how it was going to take place." That drop off was never going to take place. They were going to have her wire them the funds or send them the funds some sort of way so that it couldn't be tracked. It was not going to be some sort of in-person um, delivery. And I don't know how they were having that conversation if she's supposedly overseas or someplace else, how that was going to take place. But there were so many questions about this. So part of what helped her in this instance was this time that she had to negotiate the terms. It allowed her husband to get on the phone with 911, with the authorities, and realize that this was a scam. Now, to wrap this up, when she spoke to her daughter, when they spoke to her daughter, because they called her and the daughter's like, "Hey, I'm okay. It's a scam. It's fake. It's phony. And I've heard of this." The daughter was familiar with this. So it gives you an idea of what you need to be doing here. Go ahead, call your local authorities, call your loved one, and then also ask some questions from the other party to be sure that they actually have your daughter. You want verification, verification. Otherwise, you're just throwing money out the window, giving money to scammers. So be wise, keep your eyes and ears open, stay alert to these kinds of scams. And don't forget to subscribe. Mwah. Peace.